Good morning, everyone's. How is ya? This is my second attempt because I don't know what happened to the first and I was 5 minutes in. Yay. Well, it's a few days after Christmas. And I decided that I needed to go ahead and start rendering my beef tallow. Y'all want to? We have a lot of it. I probably have like 100 and something pounds worth, like 4 very large bags. When I say large bags, I mean the one that I just got done cutting up and are in the middle of processing fit in a very large Christmas tote. Yes, it wasn't fun. So what we're going to do is we are going to try 3 different methods of rendering tallow, and we will figure out which one we like the best, or if we like them all and we continue to do them all. So let me turn you around. I'll kind of show you the end, towards the end process, because everything's going, and I have that one bag already chopped up. So let me turn you around. All right, so that is what is left of what I am currently rendering, and I have chopped that down into manageable pieces. So we have a stock pot. I will kind of show you where we are with this. Sorry for the steam. We just kind of keep adding to this one as the fat renders down. So this is basically on a low heat. There is water in there as well because we don't want to brown the fat, right? Because then you would only be able to use this tallow for savory dishes because it would taste like beef. We want to slowly render this without any color being on it so that we can use it for sweet and savory. We want it to be completely snow white when it cools down completely in the jar. So this is basically just a bunch of chopped up tallow, and as I was going, I realized I needed to chop it up smaller, which is what I'm doing now. And there's a bit of water in there. There's probably about a cup of water in there. So that is method number 1. Method number 2 is basically the same thing, but it's in a crock pot. Again, these were the bigger chunks. Yep. I also should have cleared more of that beef off of there, but we'll be fine. Anyway, this is on high, along with some water as well. And then we have 2 Instapots going. The Instapots, this one only has 20 minutes, basically says to, I basically filled up the inside tank. I put in about a half a cup of water, and it said to do it on pressure cook for 60 minutes. We have 19 minutes left on this one. So as this cooks down, I'm going to continue to keep adding that. Again, keeping it on low because we just want that liquid down there. See that? That's what we want. But we want to cook all the impurities off of it as well. I think at this point the biggest thing that we're going to do is get the butcher to make this fat more manageable for me. So this was my girlfriend's cow that has the farm. She's the one that gives me most of the stuff that we process because she has the stuff in no time, and I have the time and no stuff. Works out well. But I had asked her, because I kind of figured when I got it, wow, this is really unmanageable. I mean, these are really, I'll take you down in the basement and I'll show you what they look like. They're very large bags, very large cuts of fat. It's very unmanageable. It is not pleasant. I have a blister. This is my knife hand from just the one. But it's daunting, to say the least. So I would love if I could get them to do it on a large grind. I don't know if we'll be able to do that, but they definitely need to cut it up into more smaller, manageable pieces for me, because there were hunks in there that were almost as large as my counter. It's not fun. Now, we got it done, so not the point. Just, come back in the process and we'll kind of show there may be more than one part to this. I don't know. It depends on how long this takes, but we've got about another 20 minutes and we'll see what the Instapot one looks like. It says that's all you need to do, so we'll see. We'll see. All right, I'm at about the point. I'm going to add some more fat. I did add a little more water because it sounded like it was starting to get a little too hot, which again, I don't want it to be brown. So this is kind of what it looks like. We're about halfway up the pot. I'm going to add a little bit more tallow into this. All right, y'all know how much was in that bowl. So we've put that in there. We're going to stir it in, put the lid back on it, and let her go. I also turned it down to low because again, we don't want it to brown. We just want it to render the fat. All right, we're gonna let this thing go off, and we'll come back in a little bit once that's completely quiet, and we'll take a look and see where we're at. All right, so Instapot. 60 minutes is an absolute lie. This has been going for 3 hours. Golden and clear is what you want. So I'm going to strain all of the tallow off of this, and whatever fat is left, we're going to put it in the stock pot and let it continue to render down. We'll come over to the next one. It is the same thing. We've rendered down fairly nicely. This is, geez, 4th run on this. All the fat is in now. You can kind of see how that's going. But you see how that's real milky? See that? Yeah, we need it to be clear. So this has got to continue to keep cooking down and cooking down and cooking down. However, I will say we got 2 quarts of absolute liquid gold out of the stock pot already. As far as the crock pot goes, this is going to be the loser as far as I'm concerned. Unless you are just doing really tiny batches and you don't want to have to watch this, this is super slow, like super slow method. And you see, there's a lot of rendering down for this to still do. So I will probably end up doing the same thing, and you can see that's not quite clear yet. This will probably end up going into the stock pot. I would say the 2 versions that I would do if I have large amounts, which I do have large amounts. These bags are huge. I will probably end up doing between the 2 is we will do the 2 Instapots and the stock pot, just because I can do 3 at one time. They need to go 3 hours on either the old one. I did it on saute, and the new one I did it on pressure cook, and just do 3 hours because we did 60 minutes, and then I went ahead and I added 2 hours to them, and they're okay. And then whatever's left, you can just throw in your stock pot. The stock pot is probably the quickest version. This would have been faster had I really chopped it down more, which I will do the next bag of tallow we do. But I'm interested to see how many quarts we end up getting out of just that one bag of tallow, which was large. But come back and I'll show you. Basically, let me just show you my setup real quick. It helps to do your research first. Basically, you need to have all metal things, right? So I have the metal attachment, right, for the jar. I put the cheesecloth and then the metal sieve. And then basically we are just going to strain that mixture in. Y'all don't need to watch me do that. And that's basically how we ended up with the jars over there. I'm coming back just long enough to tell you there's a part 2, because this is weeks later. So come back for part 2.